Bell rings, get in the square circle, it's time. The Boxing Biz podcast is live. Call in and state your mind, but get checked if you're stepping out of line. Jab right hand combination. We're interviewing fighters from every nation. The phone lines are busy. Have some patience. Your 3 minutes are up. No more conversations. The Boxing Biz, where we handle our business. Handle your business. We handle our business. Good morning. Welcome back to another edition here on the Boxing Biz podcast show. Check us all out on YouTube, across all platforms, Facebook, IG, TikTok. If you want to dance to it, dance to it. You already know Doomatron is
Doomatron activated.
Super activated, and it's the weigh-ins today. Richard Hitchins versus George Kambosos. And, the week couldn't have come quicker, or the weekend, right? Tomorrow's the fight, and we got to get our picks in, right? Who do you got? Why? What's the difference? Who we comparing this fight to? Will Richard Hitchins do better than Devin? Will he do better than Teofimo Lopez? Is he going to outperform these other fighters that have fought George Kambosos? Now, we can't forget about George Kambosos. Yeah, he's lost, but he's lost to the best. Vasily Lomachenko, Teo, Devin. Can't take away too much from George Kambosos. And I know that all of us here in the States, we rooting for our boy. New York City, stand up. You know what I mean? Go finish him.
Finish him.
But the honest fact is that George Kambosos is ferocious, right? That's the nickname, ferocious. Richard Hitchins, ferocious. So what are we getting this Saturday? What kind of fight are we going to get? Because from what I'm seeing right now, right, none of these guys are talking about, they're going to box or anything. Richard Hitchins is really the one that, we're kind of like, okay, he's the boxer. We're going to most likely see him box, right? But, ever since the announcement came out with Turki Al-Sheikh saying no more Tom and Jerry games, I think he set the bar across the board. You know what I mean? Even if you're not doing business with Turkey, you want to do business with Turkey. So you don't want to, give these lackluster performances moving forward if you want to be on one of the Turk cards. So I really am a little worried, actually, for Richard Hitchins, being as though that, there's a lot of pressure for him to perform. As much as it is Kambosos, but the styles differ, right? So you're looking at Kambosos, who's used to, going in there and going head-to-head, his preferable style. And he's not so much Mexican style either, Kambosos, he's a pressure fighter, but he does know how to box. I think we've forgotten a little bit about some of the things that George Kambosos does right. He is able to box as well, as we saw how he counterpunched Teofimo Lopez, stepping on the back foot. He's able to do these things, and in the event that Richard Hitchins decides to get out of his norm, right? To jump into the into the flames. Excuse me. And if he's jumping into the flames and kind of deflecting from what really his style is, it could mean some trouble for Richard Hitchins, man. I'm telling you. So all that shield from pressure that he's had on pretty well, he's had on a good armor, and not paying attention, right, to the public and to the pressure coming from outside sources. He needs to go in there and he needs to do what he always does. He needs to be the best boxer puncher he can possibly be. I think deflecting from that plan in any way can be bad business. Again, George Kambosos only lost to the best. He only lost to the best. We cannot take any credit away from George come tomorrow. And it's going to be interesting to see this weigh-in, how these fighters look. We love to gauge and pull something out of these weigh-ins. You can't always do it, But there's a tale to tell in that weight cut. We know what to look for. We know the eyes. We know if they're talking too much or not talking enough, if they're chewing gum or if they weren't chewing gum, how much stress was put on that body to make that weight. We're going to see that today. And shout out to everybody tuning in with us too, man. We had a little late start today. You know, we're usually up at 7. Started at 8 o'clock. A little later than 8 too, man. So apologies for the tardiness, as you know the show was supposed to begin at 7. So went out last night, guys. Went out. My lady went to a networking event at the Chart House. Anybody knows the Chart House out in Weehawken? Very nice place. Very nice views. And I came back a little late. Went to sleep a little late, so apologies again. But shout out to everybody that's still tuning in, rocking out with us. You know I beat them. I beat them. I beat everybody. Champ. And speaking of, beating everybody, man, there's a lot of haters out there for my man Andy Cruz. A lot of haters out there. I don't know why y'all crashing down on Andy Cruz, acting like he ain't that guy. Why y'all talking about Andy Cruz, acting like he ain't trying to fight the best? Why you guys acting like Andy Cruz is not everybody's top pick to fight? So when you go on a mic and you start harping, ring, you start harping for Keyshawn Davis, and you start harping for, these top guys that, Andy's not really trying to fight them, you're lying. You're trying to create disorder, champ, because that's bullshit. And we all know why he went the IBF route. We know why Andy went the IBF route and why he didn't stay on that other side in that other sanctioning body to try to get a fight with Keyshawn. You know what I mean? The IBF handles their business. Where's my IBF medal there? You see that? Wait, let me see if I can get the finger on that. That's right there. IBF right there. Bam. IBF handles their business, so they know if Andy captures this IBF route, he's going to get in there with Machido. He's going to handle the business. And then Murataya's in line. He conquers that. Now he's in position. See, this is all about positioning for Andy Cruz. Nobody want to fight him, bro. Mira, calladito. Andy Cruz making his way into that position so that then they can't deny him. Once he has that belt, sooner the better, they can't deny him. Who's running? If you want to unify, you want to be undisputed, you got to come see Andy. That means if you're a Shakur Stevenson, you got to come see Andy. Andy Cruz, whether you like it or not, nobody wants to fight Andy Cruz. Andy Cruz is that guy. So anything else, talking about you didn't do this, you didn't do that. Come on, man. We all know what these Cuban fighters go through, bro. These Cuban fighters got to go, they got to deflect or defect. They go through all those shenanigans. And it ain't as easy for the Cuban amateurs to jump right into the pros and have all this attention. They got to go through some red tape. And it's totally understandable, man, that he's not, he hasn't been pushed as fast as, let's say, a Keyshawn Davis, right? My man Keyshawn's already here. He's in the States. He's moving and grooving. You know what I mean? The push was faster. Yeah, he got more fights. You know what I mean? Freaking Andy started, I think, first bout, career debut was July, right? I think it was July 2023. And just started, I guess, a little later than Davis. And 2 fights a year, I mean, it's not bad. I don't know, what's the big deal about that, especially when nobody wants to fight you. Keyshawn Davis got 2 years ahead, Keyshawn Davis made his debut in 21. So, yeah, I got 2 years in the game. I'm going to have more fights. So what? Really think about it. The way they moved Keyshawn Davis, then yeah, he's going to have a few more fights just because he's a few years ahead. And you take a look, and I mean, Keyshawn was real busy in the first year. I mean, in 21, he had 4 fights in 2021, right? Right off the debut. And then you got, Andy Cruz, 2 fights in 23, 2 fights in 24. So he's been the 2-fight type of guy, right? And Keyshawn had 3 fights, 4 fights in 1 year. And that's pretty impressive, right? I can't even deny that, bro. He fought that many times. But who did he really fight? Can we compare? Can we compare these fighters to Keyshawn's? I don't know, but it is true. Keyshawn did fight in his first year 4 times. And I mean, you look at the records and the guys he's beaten up. Nothing really much to look at. You had Richmond Ashley, who had a 10-1 record. I mean, probably the only decent record on paper, really, out of those guys. But very active. Got to give it to my man Keyshawn. 3 fights in 22. 3 fights in 23. There we go. 3 fights in 24. Yeah, man. And look, I don't know if, again, it's, 2 years ahead of him. And we got to deal with promotions, right? How the promotions are moving you. Obviously, promotional companies work a little different. Operations are different. Matchmaking, different. Eddie Hearn and Bob Arum, they move different. Fighters going to want to fight, man. There's a lot of other moving parts that we got to take into consideration. But comparatively, yeah, Keyshawn, first year, fought way more, double the amount. Keyshawn fought 4 times in his debut first year. And Andy has been steady 2. Now, obviously, you give him 2 more years, that's 4 more fights. He's at 9-0. And that's about 4 fights, or 4 fights less than let's say Keyshawn Davis, if we were using that same trajectory. So yeah, Andy Cruz about 1 fight less per year, and I think that's going to change, right? Now that he's going to be able to be in position to have that title, that IBF title, there's going to be more way in his positioning to be able to like flex on these guys to fight him, man. They don't want to fight him. Y'all are acting like Andy Cruz is the number 1 pick for people to fight. Don't nobody want to fight Andy Cruz. And y'all don't even want to talk about that. Y'all want to talk about, he ain't fight enough. No, my man Cuban, and he got to go through all the red tape to start his professional career. It ain't like my man Keyshawn lost to Andy, and he left. He's like, man, I'm about to get into these pro ranks and handle business. And it was quick like that, Again, Andy Cruz avoided. He's avoided, champ. They ducking him. They ain't going to be able to duck him anytime soon. Shout out to the champs right now. Got a few of y'all, man, on Facebook. Shout out to the X family. And definitely shout out to the YouTube fam. Shout out to L Dub Boxing. Said, what's good? What's good, champy? Good morning. Hope you're having a blessed one. Hope you got the cafecito ready. Got the breakfast ready. I don't know. Not everybody starts their day with coffee, right? Shout out to my, brothers across the pond. They started with tea and crumpets. Shit, you got people that start off the day with some green juice. Whatever you're doing, Hope you're doing it well and that you're having a blessed one. So thanks for tuning in here on the Boxing Biz. My man L Dub, first in line in the chatty patty. But again, this is weigh-ins today for Richard Hitchison versus George Kambosos. That's it. We here. Fight weekend. We got it. And look, we didn't. And the press conference got crazy yesterday, bro. Ah, man, I was mad I didn't come on. I was gonna come on like at 1 a.m, bro. But nonetheless, right? The presser was kind of funky, and you had George Kambosos' pops, who I think with the mic in his hand caught my man Lenny, Coach Lenny, with a little, you know what I'm saying, with that little hit him with the chin check in that whole scuffle at the presser, and they didn't even let him go head to head either. No face off. So today's gonna be exciting. Today's gonna be crazy. Who knows, man? If I know if I was Coach Lenny, I would have went to sleep thinking about get back. Caught me, why you chin check me with the mic? Straight up, hit him with the Nas. All I get is one mic. Bow. And don't get it twisted, Coach Lenny was about to throw the chair at him, bro. Coach Lenny was not playing. He was going straight Brooklyn real quick. He grabbed that chair so fast, he was going to hit George Kambosos' dad with that shit. So, yeah, no face-off for the presser. But I'm pretty sure that today at the weigh-ins we'll see that that face-off. And again, Jim was a little out of pocket. Jim ran up on, hey, yo, man, I know you guys saw that shit yesterday. And everybody at the presser was acting like it didn't happen or didn't even see it. But when my man Jim, with the mic in hand, said, ugh, and I'm going to bring it up because, I mean, if you didn't catch the presser yesterday, yeah, guys, it got a little crazy at the presser. And Jim really did chin check my man Lenny, bro. I ain't like that shit. You know, he gets mad excited. Jim says he fights for his fighters. You know what I mean? And let me just get to that part, bro. Because when that happened, I was like, oh, it's about to go crazy. It's about to get really crazy at the presser. Shout out to my man Lou DeBella too, man. Sitting center next to Eddie. Lou DeBella, bro. Been doing it for a long time. I think my man's into baseball right now. But, you know, Hart's been in boxing forever, bro. He's been with Kambosos for a long time, too. And he's constantly... Oh, shit. There we go. We got here. All right, guys. I'm going to throw it up on there on the screen. For those that are not seeing us visual, I'm throwing up a clip of the weigh-in where Richard Hitchison comes through with the 50 bands, right? He got the 50 stacks. And he gets in Kambosos' face. And he's like, bet me the 50. Bet me the 50. Kambosos ain't even know what to say. He ain't want to bet. So all he could do is get up and push him. He pushed Richard Hitchison. And Richard Hitchison was really pushing that 50 stack bet. Jim, funny as hell. You know. Jim had a lot to say, Kambosos' dad. He had a lot to say. Hey, your chains, you got none of that shit yours. You borrowed those 50 stacks. They were saying everything but, yeah, we'll bet you. I already bet that myself. So he said he bet the bag already on himself. I hope he didn't. It's like that. Again, bro, this fight can, you know, it could be a real good one. We all thought Teofimo Lopez was going to walk through Kambosos. And that didn't happen. So... Ooh, chin check. Damn, hold up. And look, there's a couple of I'm gonna have to get another visual. All right. But whatever you guys see here, you're gonna get like a back view of when Jim gets up, mic in hand, and kind of taps up Lenny real quick. It wasn't nothing crazy. It wasn't like he hooked off on Lenny, but he tapped him. You know what I'm saying? A little disrespectful if you ask me. You ain't tapping me with no mic in my face. Get out of here. So here we go. Remember, this is the back. This is the back view. I'm gonna get a better view where you can actually see it from the side too, and you'll see that my man Jim wasn't playing. All right, so you see Jim right here, right? Kambosos is rushing Richard, and then things kind of just start from there. Watch this. There we go. Matter of fact, let's put a little volume on that. Look. Ooh, right there. I know you saw him. Bro. Kambosos was all the way back here. Jim actually ran up and chin checked. He chin checked him, bro. Do it again. We're going to play it again.
Such a good deal that I'm taking money out of your pay-per-view, your guarantee, and comes on scene. You know what? It's not my fault your manager didn't negotiate a deal.
There we go. Let's get it done, he says. Right there. There we go. Jim gets up talking about let's get it done. Watch this. I wish I had super slow-mo on this. Watch. Right there. Jim got his left hand behind the security, and he used the right hand with the mic to chin check my man Lenny. No wonder Lenny was trying to hit him with the chair, bro. And look at Eddie Hearn. Look at Eddie, man. Let me put it on full screen. Let me see if it gets bigger. Look at good old Eddie. Can I even do that? Let's see. Nah, I can't even make it bigger. I was trying to make it bigger, y'all. Look at Eddie. Eddie smiling it up. Eddie sees dollar signs right now. More beef, the better. Watch. Let's get it done. Said, let's get it done. Look at Lou DiBella getting up. You don't want to mess with Lou, man. He'll let loose a couple combinations real quick.
Pussy ass. Come on, see. Put your money on the fucking bet. No, I'm betting you, you pussy. I'm betting you. I'm trying to bet you, you pussy. Fucking bum. Fuck around and make it out this city. Y'all better boys better calm the fuck down. Y'all boys better calm. Shut your ass up, brother. Smack your glasses off your fucking head. Easy.
Can't even sell a fight.
Wow.
Fucking bum. You gonna get it.
Damn. Yo, Hitchins said you better shut up. You might not make it out the city. You see Jim calm down real quick. Jim's like, we're trying to promote the fight. Yeah, calm that shit down, bro. Ain't nobody going to Australia and acting up with the Wallabies. All right, champ? We go out there, respect. You know what I'm saying? You over here, respect. Stop trying to chin check my coach before he hit you with that chair. That was crazy. Man. You know what I'm saying? When you see the coaches getting into it, bro, something's going on. Your man's chin checked Coach Lenny. I don't know if that, and I'm surprised that there's no real talk about that, bro. You know, fighters could get into it. I mean, we saw Teofimo slap Barbosa. We've seen Canelo and Caleb get into it. We've seen a whole bunch of shit happen between the fighters, but when you got the coaches doing some bullshit, I don't know. And I'm not trying to insinuate, like, you know, lawsuits and all that shit, you know. Fuck it, he chin checked me, I would have slapped him right back. But they were pulling Coach Kenny back. And in hindsight, I tell you what, Jim was in the wrong. He's not supposed to be doing that. You're not supposed to be putting your hands on another person, especially if you ain't even a fighter, bro. You know what I'm saying? And Coach Lenny May's a good guy. Guy I respect. So that's some bullshit. Richard got to get that back. That's 1,000. Richard got to get that back for Coach Lenny, bro. You ain't gonna get away with that. You're not gonna chin check my coach with a mic in your hand and think you're gonna get away with it. I'm gonna beat the shit out your fighter. Richard Hitchison got to get back, not only for him, but he got to get it back for Coach Lenny now. Things just got real personal right now, bro. What? I remember, man. Remember when Floyd Mayweather Sr., he was I think he was sparring that crazy dude. What was his name? Come on, y'all. I know you guys remember that crazy kid that was walking around into gyms, just throwing boxing gloves at people and then trying to wail on them. Charlie Z. There you go. Charlie Z. Yeah, he on some Charlie Z shit. He needs to get that back. Fuck that. And I wonder if there's any fines, anything like that. Again, I'm not trying to amp things up for lawsuits and stuff like that. But definitely not a good look for Jim to be chin checking Coach Lenny with the mic in his hand. That could possibly be assault with a weapon. And look, man, again, I'm not harping for a lawsuit or nothing like that. I'm just saying, bro, as much as the fighters got to control it, these managers got to control it. But, it adds a lot of sauce to the spaghettis. There's a lot of sauce now in there. And if you're trying to sell a fight, I guess they are selling it. So, I don't think too much is going to come out of that, bro. But Richard Hitchison, go get that, bro. Go get that for Coach Lenny, man. That's why when Coach Lenny, and I didn't see that mic punch from Jim. I didn't see it clearly. I had to play it back a couple of times because nobody noticed it. You know what I mean? And then when Coach Lenny grabbed the chair, I'm like, dang, Coach Lenny wilding. He ready for the chair. And I don't know what Bill said to him too, because Bill said something to Lenny, and Lenny got real pissed off. Lenny immediately got pissed off, and I think Bill was talking about Jim hitting him or smacking him upside the neck or the head or whatever it was. So I think Bill was referencing to that, and that's when Coach Lenny got pissed off and grabbed the chair and, looked like he was about to hammer him with it. But yeah, Richard Hitchison, George Kambosos, today is the weigh-in, so I'm definitely going to be on for the weigh-ins. Definitely going to be covering it, so make sure you guys stay locked in with me, man. Hit that notification bell and subscribe. Hit that notification bell, subscribe, and, of course, tell a friend about the program, and let's get in here and get ready for the boxing weekend. Andy Cruz, also. I'm talking Andy Cruz. I got to jump in there for my Cuban brethren. Oh, yeah, I said it. They talking shit about you. So I got to jump in here and, put my stance. Shout out to Coach Rivera, says Bill sometimes goes overboard. I mean, you saw what he was doing. Out there chasing Teofimo Lopez and shit. He out in New York chasing Teo. I tell you what though, Bill gets it in, man. He gets it in. He he knows how to sell the fight. He knows how to be involved. Some even may say too involved, but not for me. I think it's just right. And he was out there chasing Teofimo Lopez. Yo, and him calling Devin Debo is hilarious. Debo been tripping for a long time. Teofimo ain't that right. Yeah, I know you guys remember this one. And I'll put it up on the screen, right? There we go. I'll put it up on the screen. This is, man, and time does fly, man, because Devin looks young in this video. I'm bringing it back. few years back, man, when Devin Haney was trying to get the Teofimo fight also. And if you guys remember, he was really trying to get the fight. And, Teofimo was going through whatever he's always going through with the promotions and stuff. So there wasn't really too much that he could, I guess, do, or he didn't know the power he had in the say. But we do remember this, right?
Conversation like he's not going to do a motherfucking thing, so we ain't got to worry about nobody fighting. But anyways, continue.
Conversation like
he's not going to do a motherfucking thing, so we ain't got to worry about nobody fighting. But anyways, continue.
Conversation like
he's not going to do a motherfucking thing, so we ain't got to worry about nobody fighting.
Yo, man. This is Bill Haney too, obviously. This is Bill's X account. You see he got Debo Haney. And then you got Javon. Who's this Javante? I done helped a lot of weird ass dudes. That's because I heard real ones helped you and you did weird shit. That's Bill Haney going back and forth with Javante. But nah, just some comedic shit, man. And again, you got to work the media, the social media. You got to work the media, period. And, Bill's constantly doing that. He's constantly in the media, and he's constantly pushing for his son. So got to give him mad props for that. But as far as, Teofimo, not wanting the fight, I don't think it's that. I think it's... Again, I think there's a little bit of jealousy, though, sometimes. I'm not going to say jealousy, but I think on both parts. I could imagine Teo sometimes, feeling kind of like, damn, bro, I've worked so hard to get into certain fights and positions. And seems as though some of the fighters around in the landscape just get into stuff a lot easier than others. And, but you can't hate, bro. You can't hate. You can't hate if you got somebody like, like Bill, pushing for you and everything. Bill's just Bill, man. And he's going to do whatever he can to get in there and do what's best for Junior. Shout out to my man, Coach Rivera, back on the scene, says, that's why many people don't take Devin serious or respect him. He ain't a boy anymore. He's a man. He can fight his own battles, not only in the ring, but verbally also. I think that, I really think that Devin doesn't like to talk too much. You know what I mean? You got some guys that are just not like that, bro. They don't like to talk too much. And if you see them talking, they're usually in their own comfortable element, But as far as like really getting into the back and forth, there's just some guys that don't really get into it like that. I think that's why Bill gets into it so much. You know what I mean? Because Bill already has that rah-rah in him, and he likes it. He likes the shit talking. He likes all that shit. And why not? Fuck it. Have Pop Dukes handle all the bullshit. But there's a lot of times where I just see like, damn, just let Devin handle it. You know what I mean? Because it could becomes a little bit, and in the eyes of the public too, the public are going to judge you regardless. So whether they think that you're like, this over the top, pushy, way too into, to his career or whatever that may even look like. But there's going to be those criticisms that, you just can't. I mean, you saw Sean Porter and his pops. Shout out to Kenny. They got a lot of criticism, right? In the dynamics, especially, in certain situations, like after that Earl Spence fight, there was a lot of, blowback on the way that he was talking to Porter. So there's always little things there that are up for criticism. But, as long as the dynamic duo, father and son duos, as long as they understand each other, that's what matters. And at the end of the day, he's got his back. He's got his back. Obviously, you gotta let him be who he is every once in a while, and let him handle his handle. Because again, in the eyes of the public, you're gonna take that seat. People are gonna see you as that person that basically just takes the seat to the side and lets Pops talk. Coach Rivera says, in that regard, I respect Tio more because he is the one fighting and talking. His dad stopped breastfeeding him. That's correct. And that's something that I got really, really happy with, because again, another dynamic duo, father and son. And it's just like there has to be some type of balance in these relationships, right? In these boxer son father relationships, there has to be a balance where the public still sees as the fighter as the person in control, and sometimes that wouldn't seem that way. And Theo's gotten a lot better in talking in public for sure, bro. For sure. Coach Rivera on the return says, you saw when Devin is put in the spot face-to-face, he spit fire. Who cares about social media? Bring back face-to-face press conference. Yeah, I like that. Coach Rivera cooking. Coach Rivera says, like Coda Margarito, TV face-off. Yeah. I don't know. Again, bro, sometimes, things, I don't know. I guess they're trying to avoid it or whatnot, but there was more confrontations, I think, back then, honestly, than now. I think now they had to spark it back up, because back in the day, during those times, Margarito, Cotto, even further back, you had fighters that literally there was no, oh, let's hype up the fight. The fight was already lit. The fights were already cooking, because the actual fighters were really into, wanting to beat the shit out of each other. And it was true grit. A lot of these young fighters kind of had to, I don't know, you could say grow into the camera to be able to talk. I mean, like you just said, Coach Rivera, Teofimo Lopez before. I mean, we all knew that he couldn't even talk in public that much. He would get nervous, But I think, again, we saw the evolution of Teo and where he is now. And it's totally different space, more confidence, and he's always been an entertainer. It's just, I guess, just handling the beefs, handling the confrontations outside of the ring. That's how, some of these fighters, they can fight really good and they'll go into the ring and fight in front of thousands. But, when you're behind a camera, you're being interviewed, just different dynamics. And sometimes you gotta kind of learn and get comfortable into those situations. And these fighters are growing young men and experiencing different shit, right? And now we've gotten to actually see Teo in a better place. I mean, we want to wish, right? Still a lot of bullshit that be happening to him. Sometimes he throws up out the mouth. But good guys. Shout out to everybody tapping in with us too, man. This is Richard Hitchison versus George Kambosos. We're getting our picks in. And also make sure you stay locked in with us. Hit that notification bell, champy, because we'll be coming back for the weigh-in show. See how that looks like, since we didn't get a face-off at the presser yesterday. We're talking just, some of the shit that happened at the press conference. And if anybody didn't catch it, yes, Jim Kambosos chin checks Lenny with the mic in his hand. All you get is one mic. And it was just kind of crazy to me that nobody really talked about it afterwards. Well, at least I didn't hear anybody talking about it afterwards. And, he literally chin checked Coach Lenny. Richard Hitchison got to get some of that get back for sure. You ain't going to chin check my coach. Get away with it. Get out of there. And Richard Hitchison again. Richard Hitchison better not deviate from the plan, bro. I'm a little worried in that reference, right? After all the beefing on the press conference, the shoving and pushing, bet me the 50 racks, I ain't got it, and all that other stuff. And then Lenny getting chin checked, you know what I mean, with a mic in it, with Jim in a mic. You could say Jim was about to hit him with the mic. Oh, he did hit him with the mic, right? I don't know. It's like holding a roll of quarters and shit and chin checking somebody. That's what he did. So, Richard Hitchison got a lot of emotions invested right now into this, man. I know he does, and you're seeing that it's so hard to read nowadays because you want to promote the fight, you want to make sure you're doing extra for the fight. We heard about the tickets not being sold, right? I don't know how much truth there is to that, because then some people were actually going online and checking to see if they could buy tickets, and there's certain tickets that weren't available. But a few days ago, they were talking about, there were still like a lot of tickets to be sold. It's 4,000 and there was only 1,600, and that was a few days ago. So who knows? I mean, go check the fight out, y'all. Go buy your tickets. If you're in New York, man, go support my man Africa, bro. You know what I'm saying? You wanna go support a real New Yorker? You wanna go support a real Brooklyn native? Go watch Richard Hitchins. You're gonna have a lot of fun. It's gonna be in the big room too, at Madison Square Garden. So it's gonna be a fun night. And there's some good fights on the undercard. Andy Cruz being one of them. We're going to see how that turns out for Andy Cruz. And I don't know too much about Hironori Mishiru. Hope I got that one right. But, he seemed very stoic at the press conference. He had an interpreter, obviously. Doing a good job, too. And he actually spoke English. So, Hironori Mishiru, shout out to him, honoring the country, the states, right? Made a fourth effort, right, to speak English and let him know that he was here. He was game. So, and Japanese boxing doing very well. He's going to be taking on Andy Cruz, and he's tall too, bro. Again, Andy, I'm with Andy. The school of Cuban boxing. I don't think it's going to be something that I have to totally worry about, but these guys are really tough, bro. Really tough. Really tough to get out. Really tough to knock out. And, he's obviously had more fights. Hironori Mishiru. So he's a little more experienced in that aspect. I don't know if he has an amateur background. I don't think he does. I think he's been pro the whole time, Mishiru. And let's see, Hironori Mishiru. Won't get that one wrong anymore. All right, man. Thank you guys for tuning in. Yeah, Facebook family, I see you. Coach Rivera on the return. He says, and like I don't agree on many crazy things. He said, but he is the one throwing and getting punches. That's right. Shout out to Coach Rivera, bro. That's why you the coach, champ. All right. What else we got going on here? Any other exciting fight? Well, of course, you got Zakeem Moses. That is part of the Shakur Stevenson camp. Shout out to Walil Moses from Newark, which is Shakur Stevenson's grandpa. And I believe he is training Mr. Zakeem Moses for sure. Let's see. And Zakeem Moses is fighting Carl Rogers, which I don't know who Carl Rogers is. Again, these, they're bringing him up. But there's a lot of talk about Zakeem Moses. There's a lot of talk. And, of course, right, he's with the Shakur Stevenson camp, and he got a little bit of a flair from, being in that camp. But the kid could fight, so check him out, too. Listen, all the boxers that we thought, well, not that we thought, but all the boxers that were young, like when Shakur Stevenson came in, all the young Richardson Hitchins, all these fighters are now, they're at the tail end of, or let's just say they're really into their careers at this point, They're really into their careers. Coach Rivera, have a great day too, my brother. Have a blessed day and stay up. Thank you for tuning in always and tapping in with the Doomatron. Cheers.
Doomatron activated.
Yeah, so Zakeem Moses, definitely make sure you stay focused on this kid, because again, like I said before, a lot of these older fighters are now starting to really getting, or the fighters that were young are now older. They're really into their careers, and you're going to start to see these younger fighters coming up again. You know, time keeps flying, baby. And guys like Sakeem Moses, Nishant Dev, and other up and coming stars that are going to be definitely representing the sport and putting it in putting the loop on these guys starting from now. Let's see, Pablo Valdez, 9-0, 8-0, aka Pretty Boy, and you know, he's from New York too, y'all. You know, Richard Hitchins is headlining, but Pablo Valdez he's got the crowd, man. He's definitely gonna have a big backing, and he got a 88% KO ratio. He's knocking guys out. Cesar Diaz, not too familiar with Cesar. My man don't even got a box rec pick, but Cesar was talking his shit. He was not at all showing any humble energy or trying to come into that fight humbly. Cesar Diaz is really trying to get in there and give Pablo Valdez some trouble. Funny to say, I haven't seen Cesar Diaz fight. He's fought Oscar Robledo, guys that I really don't know too much. He says he's traveled a lot. Must have been in the amateurs, because the fights that he has as a professional, I'm looking at, he's fought in Peru. So, he was talking about, he's been all over the world. I don't know. It must be the amateur fights, which it looks like, yeah, okay, so he's been in Chile. Okay, so he's traveled around, probably the Pan American Games or boxing games, Pan America tournament, but it's not like he's been too far. But he was talking his shit. Cesar Diaz. Man, 3-7-0 and talking as much savagery as he was. That's crazy work right there. He was talking like he like he was 15-0. I like that though. You can't. 9-1. Excuse me. I was looking at his box amateur record, but as a pro, he's 9-1. So the way he was talking at the presser, man, is likely to be a firefight with Pablo Valdez. We already know what Pablo does. PV knocks people out, and yeah, he got 4%. So yeah, he's got half the KO ratio. Of course, Pablo Valdez is the favorite, but just remember, there's always these little fights in the undercard that we don't pay too much attention to that turn out to be good fights. So I like this one. I think there's a lot of animosity and beef going on between Pablo and Cesar Diaz, especially after what I saw at the presser. They've been going back and forth on the internet, on the IG, on the socials. So, this is cooking up to be a good fight. When there's a lot of emotions involved in between fighters, it just, it turns out to be a good fight. It doesn't always turn out to be good for the individual fighter because, if you got too much emotions, you ain't really going to be doing too much in there, because you have to be able to have a calm sense of mind when you're in there and you're trying to put your game plan together. Obviously, one of the things that I'm worrying about is just that. If Richard Hitchins gets too emotionally invested, he could find himself in some trouble with ferocious Kambosos. You got to be able to keep a cool, calm, collective mind, in the ring, being able to, implement your game plan and not deviate, because at any moment, Kambosos can clip you, man. And I don't think have we seen Richard Hitchins down? I don't think he's been down. I don't believe so. Teofimo Lopez, when he caught that right hand, that step back right hand, I mean, the crowd went crazy. Nobody was expecting that. And, as much as I want to believe that, Richard Hitchins is going to walk in there, and do well, this is boxing, baby. And George Kambosos can change a fight with a punch real quick. Shout out to everybody tuning in, man. Cheer! Make sure you hit the subscribe button, that notification bell. It's free, y'all. Costs you nothing. And definitely adds visibility to the show. Shout out to the Facebook platform, the X platform. Everybody, man. Chopping it up with the Doomatron early morning. We had a late start.
Doomatron activated.
You know, the show starts at 7. We started at 8 today. And, but yeah, thank you for rocking out with me. Today is weigh-in day. And even though this is a morning show, y'all, I'm coming back for the weigh-in. I'm going to have a lot of shit to say because I know it's going down. After yesterday's press conference, I know it's going down. And shit, it might be that they don't even want him to face off, bro. Jim Kambosos chin checks Lenny with the mic in his hand. All you got is one mic. And then Lenny, you know, and I think it was Bill that instigated that. Bill was like, he tapped you in your neck. You seen Lenny grab that chair so fast. That shit was hilarious. Yo, Lenny was about to hit him with the, oh, you can. And Bill out there chasing Teofimo. Come on, champ. You know the fight's gonna happen if all the pieces on the chessboard are where they're supposed to be. It ain't nothing about Teo not wanting to fight Dev. Show me the money. Show me the money, and there's a lot of negotiations to be had. We want that fight over here in Vegas. We don't want it out there in Riyadh. We want it here, Vegas, hometown. We want it in the States. And don't get it twisted, man. I mean, there's plenty of fights that can go to Riyadh, and there has been plenty of fights. I mean, look, we had Bivol out there, you know. A lot of big fights out there, but we want some of the big fights here, too. I mean, look, Canelo versus Crawford is going to be obviously in Vegas. Huge. So, but I think Teofimo wants that fight here in the States. I think that was one of his qualms, right? He don't know what's going on over there. They don't know if there's going to be favoritism out there towards Haney. I mean, and there's nothing wrong with thinking like that either, man. You know, this boxing game is a game of inches. There's always some type of advantage that either one or the other camp is trying to look for, whether it be the ring size, whether it be the location. You know, there's just a bunch of shit. It's a bunch of shit to negotiate, man. It's not just let's fight. Well, gloves. Y'all know what it is, man. But Eddie Hearn thrilled at the press conference. Had my man laughing, smiling. I'm going to put this on again for some of y'all that just tapped in too, man. Richard Hitchison, bet me 50 stacks. Bet me 50 stacks. He brought the actual 50 stacks. He brought them up there. And I wish I had the other one, man. The one from the side. Let's see. There we go. Yo, man, I cannot believe he chin-checked Lenny like that, bro. God, shit got me mad. Let's see. Let's bring it back up. I'm going to bring everything back up, fellas. Let me just take this off the screen. And then we'll bring up the actual beef right now. Damn, he chin-checked him, bro. He really did chin-check him. All right. Pause. All right, I'm bringing it on right now. There we go. There we go. Yo, he does it so nonchalantly either. He just runs up on him and just chin checks him. There we go. Here we go. Tell me he didn't chin check him, bro. Watch. Look. Chin checked him with the mic. Crazy, bro. Richard Hitchison, bro, you better get that back for Coach Lenny, champ. You better get that back for Coach Lenny, bro. How you gonna chin check my coach? Fuck out of here. You gonna chin check my coach, bro? Kambosos didn't know. Kambosos didn't know what to say after that. He's like, damn, Pop Dukes just chin check somebody. You see Kambosos like, where's your boys? Where's your boys? We got boys too. Where are they? Ah, shit. Look at him, y'all. He said, yeah. Chin checked your coach. I'll chin check him again. Eddie Hearn doesn't even know what to do. He's smiling. Look at him. Here it goes again. It's that listen, either I'm seeing wrong or what's going on. He chin checked him with the mic, bro. Let me just see this again, man. I want to know if anybody else sees something different, bro. Look. Boom, chin checked him. Hit him upside his head. It wasn't a hard shot. It wasn't nothing crazy, but still. He chin checked him, bro. Get my ass back on the stage. Bam. All right. So the chin check video is I've watched it multiple times. It's a confirmation, y'all. It's a confirmation. Jim, my man Jimbo, and I'm gonna show you the other the other side video, so you guys can actually see exactly how he chin checked them. I mean, you could see it from the video that I just showed, obviously, but there was just another video that was like from the side, or like, excuse me, more frontal view of the incident. And I think it just showed it a lot better. Because, I mean, he didn't punch the security guard in the shoulder. He went around him. You know what? Got the video right here. This should be an upfront, in your face, right next to you type of video. So let's see if it shows. All right, he pushed him right there. And it's lagging right now. $50,000. Oh shit. So Jim just threw it all out there, man. Jim said, I negotiated the illest deal for my fighter. I'm taking money from everything. That got under Richard Hitchinson's skin. That got under his skin. He said, I'm taking all the money. Wow. Yeah. And the mic, you hear the mic go thump. He thumped him. Watch. Oh, I got to put a little more volume on that. Let's get it done. Watch this. Yup. The mic sound said it all. The mic sound said it all. He hit him with it. Watch. Boom. He hit him with it, bro. And look at Eddie Hearn. Eddie Hearn got up right after that. Eddie Hearn got up right away. He wasn't getting up for anything until Jim hit him with the mic. Oh, damn, bro. That's it, yo. I think this is personal for Coach Lenny too now. Shit just got personal, bro. You ain't gonna hit my coach with no mic check. How you hit my coach with a mic check, champ? Look at this. Look at this. Get the mic check. Hit him with the mic check, bro. Damn. All I got is one mic, one mic. Do it again. He got him, bro. Let's get it done. Let's get it done. Let's get it done. Bro, and the security's mad slow, bro. Security's mad slow. Old boy was holding Kambosos. He just let Jim slide by like nothing. Look, look. Why he kept saying, let's get it done? Let's get it done. And he hits him with the mic. Look at Lenny. Look at Lenny. In all fairness, man, they was holding Lenny back. You know what I mean? I know Lenny would have tried to tee off with a little something, but they were holding his hands. Yup. Damn. He went. Let's get it done. Bro. Jim Kambosos said, all I got is one mic, one mic. Bro, I'm pretty sure they're going to be talking. I know they went back. Bro, they went back and they were talking mad shit. I could imagine the Kambosos camp in the back talking mad caca. Like, yeah, we got him. You saw how I got him, Mike. You saw I had to chin check him. Oh, it's going to be a good weekend of fights, man. Telling y'all. And go buy your tickets, too. Stop playing with my boy Richard Hitchins. All right? Go support my mans in them. He's going to have New York lit. It's going to be some good fights. Going to have Pablo out there, too. He brings the crowd. It's going to be a lot of action. Bro, and Lenny don't know what to do right now. Hold on. I got to bring it back. I think Lenny was going to make a run for it. He was about to jump on Jim. Lenny ain't sit back down after that mic check. I'll tell you that much. I didn't notice it, but I'm going to have to put it back on. I'm going to have to put this back on right now. So after he gets chin checked, you see Kenny still hasn't sat down. Kenny ain't about that.
We making millions on me.
Look.
Y'all making sad.
Look.
How many millions on me? I'm a seven-figure fighter. I'm a seven-figure fighter.
On loan Hitchins.
I'm an eight-figure fighter. I'm an eight-figure fighter. I'm an eight-figure fighter. You'll never see that again. Multiple. You'll never see that again. That's all right. When I beat your ass, you'll never see that again.
When I beat your ass.
So bet the fucking money. No, I already bet on myself. I
You
already
s-
bet on myself. I already bet on myself. I already bet on myself. $7 odds. $3.50. Put the best slip up. No.
Yeah, the odds are crazy, man. You bet on Kambosos, you making some money. You see Kenny?
50,000 on your stock.
Look at Kenny. Kenny ain't sit back down. Kenny just sat back down right now. Look, you don't want.
That's good. You borrowed it to turn up with it.
Right here. They want to bet with on you. Right here. Yeah. Probably fake. Fake money. That's fake money. Fake jewelry. You don't do nothing fake in New York. It's New York City. We don't do nothing fake.
We don't do nothing fake. Rep that shit, Rich. Rep that shit. It's the East Side, baby. Tri-State.
And that's why I hate, the whole media, they try to write me off my last fight with Liam Power. Everybody said
He's
that.
trying to sell tickets. He's getting clout.
Everybody said that I was
He's trying to sell tickets. He's getting clout.
about boxing.
You want him to sell tickets, Jim. Stop playing.
Put me on underdog so I could really fucking shock the world again. This guy's easy work. He's a bum. He's still living off Fimo fucking win.
Show us on Saturday
Being
night.
a Mickey bait outside. Listen, like I said, the talk is over. Whatever you
The
want.
talk is over.
I'm here ready to fight right now. Friday night, Saturday, no problem. Going nowhere. Gotta make that way, boy.
Let's get it done. Ugh, toma. Yo, Kenny ain't sit back down for that whole 2 minutes. Let's get it done. We're going to get it done. Yo, and it's funny that he mentioned the weight, too. Richard Hitchison is he's a tall fighter. He's a tall fighter. I'm not going to say lanky, but yeah, kind of, right? Tall fighter, got a lot of distance, got a lot of length in those arms. Reach is pretty daggone good, actually. So, the weight when he cuts weight and the jokes that were running around in the Kambosos camp, we know, I don't know if y'all caught it, but in some of the lead up shows that, the Zone has, and you see Kambosos talking to a skeleton, right? And matter of fact, I'll bring that shit up too, man. He was talking to the skeleton, making fun of Richard Henderson. So they've been clowning Richard, and I hope that they're not taking him lightly. That's for sure. Matter of fact, let me see if I can bring up the skeleton one. I know you guys know what I'm talking about. Kambosos had a skeleton in the camp, and he's just talking to the skeleton, acting like it's Richard Hitchison. What do we got here? Oh, that's another weigh-in. Oh no, that's UFC. The other presser too, man, that I got to see. Which, matter of fact, you know what? Nah. Wait a minute. This is something I wanted to mention too, man, because I honestly don't know who it is. But there was a fighter, a heavyweight fighter, at the presser that was interesting in the undercard, right? Never heard of the guy. He had Hammer Time, I think, on his hat, and he's fighting Tero Moana Jr. And I guess Tero Moana was supposed to fight someone else, and I guess the guy, didn't show up. But we know how it is. But Aleem Whitfield is the name of this gentleman, which I really never heard of. And, of course, we're going to check him out and see some of his he said he was number 2 in the country, at one point. So I don't, it's just funny to me that I never heard of him. He did say that, he comes from a small town and, there's not too many people, I guess, or too much push for him. But last name is Hammer. He's 35 years old. You know how it is in the heavyweight division. You do get a little bit more of a leeway on that. Yeah, man, he fought in 2008. Wow. He fought Dennis Duglin. He lost in a 3-round fight, unanimous decision. And you guys remember Dennis Duglin, Mama's boy. Now, when this is the amateurs too, so I don't even know if he was fighting him. Wow, Sean Porter. Am I really seeing Sean Porter here? Holy moly, bro. He fought Sean Porter at the Nationals in the semifinals and lost to Sean Porter. So this guy has been coming up for a long time. What weight division were you fighting in the amateurs, man? I think it was light heavy. Okay, so all right, so Aleem Whitfield was light heavy in the amateurs, and obviously he continued to put on weight and ended up in the heavyweight rankings, and he's 9-0. He fought Earl Newman. He has a fight lined up already. Earl Newman. Then you look at BoxRec, he has Tero Moana, and then he has another fight already set up in September. So I wonder what that's going to look like, whether he wins or loses. But the guy seemed like he had, I don't know, seems like a dark horse, you know what I mean? Somebody's going to kind of sneak up and maybe a possible upset. That's the feeling I got. I mean, maybe you guys know a little bit more about Aleem Whitfield, but it was just interesting to me that somebody like that, 9-0, number 2 in the country and all that, and it's the first time I really get a sight for him.
Take my hat off to him, you know what I'm saying? The what people don't know, I've been boxing since I was 6 years old. You know what I'm saying? I was number 2 as an amateur, number 2 in the world, in USA when I was amateur.
He was number 2.
Very different is you guys were shot from a little town. They don't get you shot, so it's my time. I came here for auctions. The only thing on my mind was BCC. You know what I'm saying? Y'all don't know about me, but it'll show you.
He said, "You don't know about me, but I'm gonna show you."
Amazing. Tell me about that story from being a young amateur.
I started boxing when I was 6 years old, you know what I'm saying?
6 years old.
In 2008, 2009, I traveled to Dublin, Ireland with the USA team. You know what I'm saying? I even shot 165 fought Sean Porter. People don't know me. I was swept under the rug, but
So he fought Sean Porter at 165. Damn. So damn, he's been coming up from weight for a long time. It's just crazy, bro. Shout out to Coach Rivera, says, "I don't think George win over Tio was a fluke. I think it was a clash of styles. So even though he ain't elite, his style can be problematic." Yeah. Styles make fights, man. You ain't kidding, Coach. And, the style that I'm seeing here is, both are really, truly boxer punchers. It's just one is more of a boxer in the sense that he has that Mayweather-esque type of style in Richard Hitchison. So, yeah. And honestly, Teofimo came into the fight with Kambosos, in my opinion, a little bit too arrogant. And it ended up costing him, right? Obviously, he had a bunch of medical shit going on with him also. So, a lot of things that weren't just right for Tio on that fight. I honestly, if Tio and Kambosos fight again, 9 out of 10 times, or 10 out of 10, Tio beats him. It's just, that night, it wasn't Tio's night. It was Kambosos. But let's continue, man. I just, he's, Aleem Whitfield got that killer man swag. You know what I'm saying? He looked like the bouncer at the front of the club that you do not want to get mad. Look.
a lot of things I didn't get on the platform like everybody else did. You know what I'm saying? So I was kind of swept under the rug, and it was hard for me to get where I'm at, and I'm here. I'm ready to eat. I'm ready.
One thing you don't possess in the heavyweight division, we know you come up the weights, is that size in terms of the height. This guy stands at 6'6", you're like 6'1", something like that. You're ready to chop down the trees.
I've been fighting heavyweight since I was young. I don't fight for everybody. You know what I'm saying? I know that's not to me. I'm 6'2" and a beast. You know what I'm saying?
The platform, the venue.
Say he a big 6'2".
And I appreciate the opportunity. God got plans for everybody.
I know that's right, champ. God got plans for everybody. And Terry Moana is a huge dude, man. He's big as fuck. Tall. How tall that dude is. Let's stop with that. Yeah, we're going to cut it right there. Dude is huge. Terra Moana. Big, tall dude, bro. But Aleem Whitfield, I didn't know anything about Aleem Whitfield until yesterday. And I don't know. I'm a little bit excited to see what what Aleem Whitfield is going to be able to do. I haven't, tried to watch any tape, any past fights. I haven't seen anything yet since yesterday. Again, guys, I had a busy ass day, but I didn't get a chance to check him out, and see how he moves and what kind of a fighter Aleem Whitfield is. We could take it back 4 months ago and try to get a sense for how he moves around and what we're going to be actually looking at here. He was doing a show, I guess a small boxing show 4 months ago. At least that's where the video says it was uploaded. But, we could get to see a little bit about how he's moving. And, what I'm looking at right now, and again, I'll bring it back real quick. There we go. Look at Aleem Whitfield. He fights, he fights with that lead left hand down, throwing some bombs. Aleem Whitfield throwing some bombs there. That's one video right there. I don't know what round they were in. I don't know if, it was already towards the end of the fight. The guy that he's fighting doesn't look too big. Not as big as a Teramoana. Let's see and this is only like a minute, right? They look like they're slow moving. Good overhand right. He unleashed right there. He threw a couple combination punches. Again, this, I'm not saying we're going to get like the next world champion out of this guy. But, with what we just saw, we got another one here. I don't even know what this looks like, but is that Aleem on the other side? Yeah. These are small shows, too. Can't really see too good, obviously, because they're not shows that are truly broadcasted and produced. This is somebody that was actually just watching from the crowd. And so Aleem Whitfield looks like, whenever he gets close and he pushes his opponents towards the ropes, looks like he throws some ill-ass combinations. For a big guy to be throwing combinations like that, just don't get tired. Lead left hand, real low. And when these heavy, when you got a guy that's a heavyweight that's come up from 165, right? He fought Sean Porter in the amateurs at that weight. So when you got a guy like that that's coming up, he's going to have lightweight tendencies, right? And when you're fighting in the heavyweights, you definitely got to know how to keep those hands up. You definitely, if you're gonna fight with a front lead hand jab low, holding it at the hip, you got to be real fast, because these heavyweights right here, look, he blasted that dude. So maybe Aleem got a little bit of grit, man. He got a little bit of a killer instinct on him for sure. That dude did not get up. He beat the shit out this dude just now. Look. That's what I'm saying. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So he's got some mean. He's got some mean in him. Aleem Hammer Whitfield. He's got a little bit of that mean in him, bro. And we just gotta give him the benefit of the doubt, I guess, to see what he can do with a guy like Teramoana. But 9-0, cruising under the radar, and nobody knew nothing about him. I think he could be in better shape, though. And that all goes along with what kind of resources and shit you got in the camps. So let's hope that he has a good camp. Shit, man, I'm rooting for the American. Fuck it. I'm going with Whitfield. Even though I know I'm betting with the heart. You know how we do over here at the Boxing Biz. We either gonna bet with the wallet or we're gonna bet with the heart. And this one, I ain't throwing no money in the pot, but I'm betting with the heart. And I hope Aleem Whitfield has a good night. and is able to show us something, you know. Dude's a giant, though. Termoana's a huge dude. He's in shape. Maybe we'll get to say, it's hammer time. Champ. Shout out to the Boxing Outcome. Says, dropping a like. We'll check out the page later. Champ. Shout out to you, my friend. And thank you for stopping by, kicking it with the Doomatron. Alex Doomsday Line is here with you. And again, guys, we were supposed to start at 7. We started at 8. So apologies. You know, the weigh-ins are going to be coming along. Let me see, what time is the weigh-in anyway? Let's see the weigh-ins, because we could rock out, you know? We could rock out depending on what time the weigh-in is. I think it should be in the afternoon, maybe 1 o'clock weigh-in. Let's see. It's 1 o'clock, so at 1 p.m. Is the weigh-in. And I'm probably going to stay on for a little bit too, bro, after the weigh-in too. Because, you know, Doomatron, he ain't even have no breakfast. Ain't nobody, bro, I ain't got a hash brown. I ain't even got a hash brown in front of me. I got no footage. So I'm going to make me an egg or two. Maybe a little sandwich. And I'll be back on with you guys. But, again, Richard Hitchison versus George Kambosos weigh-in at 1 p.m. You can catch it on YouTube, obviously on DAZN, Matchroom, any of the top promotional channels. They'll be having it live. And, of course, you can always tune into your favorite media outlet besides those big promotional channels. Yeah, we'll be back, man. There's going to be a lot more to talk about with Richard Hitchison and Kambosos. Stop hating on my boy Andy Cruz. All you haters out there talking shit because you want to harp. You want to just harp the harp. Fudge out of here. We keep it real on this side. Hey, make sure you subscribe. Hit that notification bell. We'll be right back. So if you ain't hit that notification bell, how you going to know what time we get back? Hit that. Ding. We'll be back around 1 o'clock. Probably a little before that, so that we catch the entire weigh-in show. Excited to see what's going to happen after yesterday's shenanigans. Your man Jim Kambosos catches Coach Lenny with a mic check. Ain't nobody talking about that. Richard Hitchison, go get it. So don't miss the weigh-in. It's going to be exciting. 1 o'clock Eastern time. If you're on the West Coast, you already know what it is. 3 hour behind. If you're on Mountain Time, 2 hours behind. All right. So get it right. Get it here at the Boxing Biz. Appreciate y'all. We'll be back for the weigh-in. Tune in. All right. And I'll see you guys in a couple outers. In a couple of hours. Let's go, champ. Champ. Thanks for tuning in. We'll be right back.